In an era marked by geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainties, the relationship between China and Thailand is emerging as a focal point for collaboration against regional challenges. During a pivotal meeting on February 6, 2025, Chinese President Xi Jinping commended Thailand's resolve in dismantling cyber scam operations along its border with Myanmar, a move that highlights the increasing cooperation between the two nations. Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra's first official visit to China came on the heels of Thailand's decisive actions to sever electricity and internet connections to several areas in Myanmar recognized as hubs for fraudulent activities. These scam factories, reportedly run by Chinese nationals, primarily target individuals in mainland China and the Chinese diaspora. China appreciates Thailand's effective measures to combat online gambling and fraud, she stated. According to the state news agency Xinhua, this acknowledgement not only reinforces the importance of law enforcement collaboration but also reflects a mutual commitment to safeguarding citizens and maintaining regional stability. The significance of this partnership extends beyond mere rhetoric. By strengthening judicial cooperation and enhancing security measures, both countries aim to create a safer environment for their populations and bolster economic ties. As she noted, the two sides should continue to strengthen law enforcement security and judicial cooperation, safeguard the safety of people's lives and property, and maintain the order of exchanges and cooperation among regional countries. Such sentiments underscore a shared vision that could lead to more integrated efforts against transnational crime. This cooperation comes at a time when China is also navigating tumultuous trade relations with the United States. Following former President Donald Trump's imposition of tariffs on Chinese imports, she has resorted to leveraging China's economic clout by regulating the export of critical rare metals. This strategy, described as wielding an assassin's mace of economic warfare, illustrates a stark contrast in the coercive powers of the two nations. While the U.S. possesses financial dominance, China's strength lies in its manufacturing capabilities and supply chains. However, there are risks associated with China's approach. As it seeks to weaponize its trade relationships, concerns about potential backlash and the fragility of global supply chains loom large. Analysts warn that while Xi's economic strategies may yield short-term gains, they could provoke long-term disruptions in international commerce, particularly if allies begin to perceive these actions as aggressive or destabilizing. The convergence of these two narratives, the crackdown on cyber scams in Thailand and the broader economic maneuverings by China, illustrates a complex landscape where regional partnerships are increasingly necessary to navigate global uncertainties. As Xi and Shinawatra continue to forge a strong alliance, observers will be keenly watching how their collaborative efforts evolve, especially in light of the ongoing geopolitical shifts and economic challenges that define today's world. Looking ahead, the development of Sino-Thai relations may serve as a model for other nations grappling with similar issues. With both countries poised to deepen their cooperation in law enforcement and economic matters, it remains to be seen how such partnerships will shape regional dynamics in Southeast Asia and beyond. As global uncertainties persist, the emphasis on collaborative strategies may not only enhance security but also fortify economic resilience in a rapidly changing world. In a significant diplomatic meeting on February 6, 2025, Chinese President Xi Jinping commended Thailand's proactive measures against scam operations that have proliferated along its border with Myanmar. The meeting, held in Beijing, was part of Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra's first official visit to China, which marks a new chapter in the long-standing relationship between the two nations. As China and Thailand navigate a complex landscape of global uncertainties, their partnership is poised to strengthen, particularly in law enforcement and regional security. The backdrop of this meeting is Thailand's recent crackdown on scam hubs that have been a source of international fraud, primarily targeting Chinese citizens. In an aggressive move to dismantle these operations, the Thai government severed electricity and internet access to 5 border areas of Myanmar known for hosting these scam centers. Moreover, it halted fuel supplies and restricted the logistics that facilitate these illicit activities, such as SIM cards and satellite equipment. She praised these efforts, stating China appreciates Thailand's effective measures to combat online gambling and fraud, according to Xinhua, the state news agency. This meeting occurs in a pivotal year commemorating the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Thailand and China. During this milestone, leaders from both countries emphasized the importance of continued cooperation and mutual support. Prime Minister Shinawatra highlighted the historical ties that have allowed both nations to weather various challenges. She noted that China has been Thailand's largest trading partner for 12 consecutive years, with investments exceeding $100 billion. Underscoring the economic interdependence that has flourished since the establishment of diplomatic relations. Xi Jinping echoed these sentiments, expressing that the relationship between China and Thailand is a priority for his administration. We should continue to strengthen law enforcement, security, and judicial cooperation, safeguard the safety of people's lives and property, and maintain the order of exchanges and cooperation among regional countries, he stated, reinforcing the commitment to collaborative security efforts. The discussions also included the signing of various agreements aimed at enhancing economic trade and investment cooperation. These agreements are expected to pave the way for tangible benefits for both nations, fostering an environment conducive to growth and stability in the region. As both countries grapple with the challenges posed by global uncertainties, their partnership could serve as a model for other nations looking to enhance bilateral ties in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. Looking ahead, the relationship between Thailand and China may evolve further, especially as both countries face similar challenges in the realms of cybersecurity, economic stability, and law enforcement. As they navigate these issues together, the emphasis on collaboration in combating transnational crime and enhancing mutual security will likely become a cornerstone of their diplomatic endeavors. How these initiatives unfold will be crucial not only for Thailand and China but also for the broader Asia-Pacific region, where the implications of such cooperation can resonate across borders. The future of Sino-Thai relations appears promising as both nations commit to deepening their ties in pursuit of shared goals. As the global economy grapples with mounting tensions, the chessboard of international trade has become increasingly complex. Recent developments highlight a dramatic escalation in economic hostilities between the United States and China, with both nations wielding tariffs and strategic trade measures as instruments of power. In this context, Xi Jinping's recent actions, described as swinging an assassin's mace of economic warfare, signify a pivotal moment in the evolving economic landscape. In a swift response to the Trump administration's imposition of a 10% tariff on Chinese imports, Xi Jinping announced on February 4, 2025 that several rare metals would now be classified as controlled exports. This move grants the Chinese government the authority to ban shipments to the United States at any moment, showcasing a strategic capability rooted in the products China supplies rather than the financial leverage the U.S. possesses through its consumer market. According to analysts, this distinction highlights a fundamental difference between American and Chinese power dynamics. While the U.S. has historically leveraged its purchasing power and financial dominance, China is beginning to wield its role as a key supplier in global supply chains as a form of retaliation. The unfolding trade conflict has broader implications not only for the U.S. and China but also for their allies and the global economy. As Xi's government tightens its grip on export controls, there is a palpable concern about potential blowback. The aggressive trade measures may provoke further retaliation from Washington, leading to a tit-for-tat scenario that could destabilize markets and supply chains worldwide. Observers warn that if tensions escalate unchecked, the consequences could be severe, impacting everything from consumer prices to international relations. The Chinese government's recent economic maneuvers come on the heels of a significant Lunar New Year holiday during which domestic travel and spending reached record highs. According to data from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, over 501 million trips were made within China, marking a 5.9% increase from the previous year. Tourism spending surged by 7% to 677 billion yuan, $93 billion, offering a temporary boost to a struggling economy. However, experts caution against overinterpreting this spike in spending, suggesting it may merely reflect a release of pent-up consumer demand from a lackluster 2024 rather than a sustained economic rebound. As China seeks to bolster its economy amid external pressures, Xi Jinping has emphasized the importance of expanding domestic consumption. This focus on internal growth is set against a backdrop of persistent challenges, including youth unemployment and a struggling property market. Analysts point to government policies aimed at stimulating consumption, such as trade-in programs for cars and household appliances, as attempts to invigorate economic activity. Despite these initiatives, there remains skepticism about their long-term effectiveness. At the same time, the geopolitical landscape continues to shift. The Biden administration has maintained and in some cases expanded tariffs on Chinese goods, reflecting a bipartisan consensus that has emerged around a tougher stance on China. This alignment between parties marks a significant departure from previous trade policies and underscores a growing sentiment that the U.S. must confront China's expanding influence. The historical context of these tensions reveals deeper roots. Both Xi Jinping and Donald Trump's political trajectories were shaped by their formative experiences in the 1980s, particularly their encounters with Japan's economic rise. For Trump, the narrative has long been one of American economic vulnerability in the face of foreign competition. His fixation on tariffs reflects a belief that the U.S. has been taken advantage of on the global stage, a sentiment that has resonated with a significant portion of the American electorate. Conversely, Xi's rise to power has been intertwined with China's transformation into a global economic powerhouse. Under his leadership, China has shifted from a focus on export-led growth to a more complex economic strategy that emphasizes domestic consumption while still relying heavily on international markets. The challenge for Xi now lies in balancing these competing pressures and avoiding the pitfalls that have historically plagued nations that overextend their economic ambitions. As both nations navigate this complex economic landscape, the stakes remain high. The potential for a prolonged trade war looms, with each side poised to leverage its strengths. Analysts are divided on the potential outcomes of these strategies. Some argue that a sustained conflict may lead to a fragmentation of global supply chains and a realignment of economic alliances, while others suggest that both nations may eventually seek common ground to mitigate the risks posed by such a protracted confrontation. Looking ahead, the ongoing trade tensions are likely to reshape not only U.S.-China relations but also the broader global economic order. The intersection of historical grievances, national interests, and economic policies will continue to drive the narrative of this unfolding saga as both Xi Jinping and Donald Trump remain steadfast in their respective approaches. The world watches closely, aware that the choices made in this critical moment will have lasting implications for international trade, economic stability, and geopolitical dynamics in the years to come. In a striking display of military ambition, recent time-lapse footage has revealed that China's wartime command site is a staggering 10 times larger than the Pentagon. This development comes amid escalating tensions and strategic posturing in the Asia-Pacific region, drawing attention to China's growing military capabilities and its implications for global security dynamics. The extensive command facility, which has been a subject of speculation and concern, serves as a testament to China's commitment to modernizing its military infrastructure. As revealed in the footage, the site not only dwarfs the Pentagon in size but also showcases an array of advanced technologies and operational capabilities that underscore China's intent to assert itself on the world stage. Analysts suggest that this expansion is part of a broader strategy to enhance command and control during potential conflicts, thereby solidifying China's position as a formidable military power. Military experts have noted that the size of the command site reflects China's prioritization of defense and strategic readiness, particularly in light of ongoing tensions with the United States and its allies in the region. The sheer scale of this facility indicates a significant investment in military infrastructure, said a defense analyst familiar with the developments. China is clearly positioning itself to respond swiftly to any regional threats, and this site is a critical component of that readiness. In parallel with its military advancements, China has also been engaging in diplomatic maneuvers such as the recent meeting between President Xi Jinping and Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra. During this meeting, Xi emphasized the importance of regional cooperation in combating transnational crimes including online gambling and telecom fraud. The leaders discussed strengthening law enforcement and judicial collaboration, highlighting China's commitment to fostering stability and security in Southeast Asia. Moreover, China has reaffirmed its long-standing partnership with Pakistan, with both nations agreeing to bolster their economic and military ties. In a joint statement following talks between Xi and Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari, the two countries underscored their commitment to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPC), a multi-billion-dollar initiative aimed at enhancing connectivity and economic growth. The agreement reflects a mutual understanding of the strategic significance of their alliance, especially in the face of external pressures. However, these developments are not without their challenges. As China expands its military capabilities and fortifies its alliances, it must navigate a complex geopolitical landscape marked by competing interests and rising tensions. The U.S. has responded to China's military expansion with its own strategic initiatives, including increased military presence in the Indo-Pacific region and partnerships with regional allies. This tit-for-tat dynamic raises concerns about an arms race and the potential for miscalculation that could lead to conflict. As the global community watches closely, the implications of China's military ambitions and diplomatic engagements will continue to shape the geopolitical landscape. The next few years will be critical as nations reassess their strategies in response to China's rising influence. The question remains whether China can balance its military ambitions with the need for diplomatic engagement, or if its assertive posture will provoke a counterbalancing response from regional and global powers. In conclusion, the unveiling of China's expansive wartime command site serves as a stark reminder of the shifting dynamics in global security. As military capabilities grow, so does the need for international dialogue and cooperation to prevent escalation and promote stability. The unfolding events in the Asia-Pacific will undoubtedly set the stage for future developments as nations grapple with the complexities of an evolving geopolitical environment. In a significant diplomatic development, China has extended its support to Bangladesh's interim government led by Mohammad Yunus following a visit by Bangladeshi Foreign Affairs Advisor Tauhid Hossain to Beijing. This gesture comes at a critical juncture marked by deteriorating relations between Bangladesh and India, highlighting China's strategic maneuvering in South Asia. During Hossain's visit from January 20 to 24, Bangladesh sought several concessions from China, including a reduction of interest rates on loans and improved access to medical treatment for Bangladeshi patients, in a move that signals Beijing's willingness to foster closer ties. China agreed in principle to extend the loan repayment period from 20 to 30 years and is considering lowering interest rates from 2 to 3% to 1%. Moreover, China committed to constructing a 1,000-bed hospital in Dhaka and facilitating medical treatment for Bangladeshi patients in Kunming. The discussions also resulted in a memorandum of understanding focused on hydrological data sharing regarding the Yarlung-Tsangpa-Brahmaputra-Jamuna River, a matter of critical concern for Bangladesh due to China's plans to construct a mega dam on this river. This diplomatic overture is juxtaposed against the backdrop of Bangladesh's recent political turmoil, which saw the ousting of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina amid widespread protests. While Hasina's government enjoyed close ties with Beijing, the new interim administration is now the focal point of Chinese diplomatic efforts. A former Bangladeshi diplomat reflected on this shift, stating that China's verbal assurances of support for the interim government contrast sharply with India's lack of engagement, particularly as New Delhi continues to harbor Hasina. India's strained relationship with Dhaka has been exacerbated by various issues, including India's perceived mishandling of the treatment of Hindus in Bangladesh and its controversial border policies. In this context, China's proactive approach, especially regarding medical support, is resonating positively with the Bangladeshi populace who have faced growing difficulties accessing healthcare in India due to political tensions. Historically, China has been a steadfast ally of Bangladesh, especially in defense cooperation, with Chinese arms constituting 82% of Bangladesh's military inventory. Since 2006, China has also been Bangladesh's largest trading partner, overtaking India. The current geopolitical landscape appears to favor China, as it swiftly adapts its diplomatic strategies to engage with the new interim government, while India grapples with the fallout from its close ties to the former regime. China's diplomatic tactics extend beyond mere loans and medical aid. The country has been actively engaging with various political factions in Bangladesh, including the opposition parties. This multifaceted approach stands in stark contrast to India's more singular focus on the Awami League, which has left New Delhi with few allies in the current political climate. As China consolidates its influence in Bangladesh, it also navigates the broader implications of the US-China trade war. The recent sanctions imposed by China on U.S. defense contractors serve as a strategic signaling mechanism rather than an outright economic confrontation, showcasing Beijing's adeptness at managing its international relationships while pursuing its long-term goals. Looking ahead, China's support and engagement with Bangladesh could reshape the regional power dynamics, especially as relations between Dhaka and Delhi remain fraught. The interim government's reliance on China for economic support and stability may deepen, and it remains to be seen how India will recalibrate its strategy in response to these developments. As both nations adjust to this evolving landscape, the implications for regional diplomacy and cooperation in South Asia will be significant.